Hello! Welcome everybody, we are live. We're going to be trying to keep an eye on my personal account here. Hold on, let me turn this volume down. So if you make comments, try to put it into the comment box below because the screen's a little far away and we're going to be making things, so we're not always going to be looking. But if you put a comment in, which is right down here at the bottom where the little question mark with like a speech bubble with a question mark, then you can put that in. Hi Ashley, and say hi if you feel like it and we will say hi back. So thanks for joining us today. We are excited to have you. What we're going to be doing is making this little planter. So this is a technique called Tambour, well, a version of it that kind of adapted. This is a hot design trend that's going on right now, so I thought it'd be fun to replicate it in a miniature scale. And there's so many different ways that you can incorporate this. You can put it on something simple like a planter. You usually see it curved, so that's why I did it like this, and it's quick and easy. But you can adapt it to be on furniture, walls, fireplaces, ceilings, all kinds of things. I actually just posted on the blog a little history about Tambour and then this tutorial. So if you miss anything, we'll recap the live later, but you can also go on there and get more of a step-by-step. So that's what we're doing today. Chase has not made this. Pay attention over here. This kid, he's like all about the, I'm gonna keep this by me. Technology these days. Okay, so Chase has never made this. He just saw it a couple minutes ago. So we're gonna do a little bit of a test. If he can understand how to do it, then I think y'all can figure it out too. Ready for the challenge? He's ready. He's super excited. Okay, so let's go over the things you're gonna need. Some supplies. This is in no random order. I'm just gonna grab things. So you need some glue. For this, we're using Elmer's Glue All. You can find it pretty much anywhere. I've also linked all of these things to Amazon, you know, but you can get them at the dollar store. You can get some of these things. Hobby Lobby, Home Goods, or not Home Goods, I'm sorry, Home Depot, which has some good things for your home too. Okay, so glue. You're gonna need a cutting mat. It's a little one. You're gonna need a ruler, and I recommend one with a cork backing so you don't hurt yourself. You're gonna need a sanding block or something similar. This I got from the dollar store. You can swap it out. You can tell it's used. And the sandpaper in here is just a light grit. I mean, you're sanding toothpicks, so it doesn't have to be major. A pencil, an X-Acto knife, toothpicks. Now you can use any size that you really want. It depends on how big your object is that you're covering. So this is, you know, a typical one that you're getting, which is about 2.5 inches. But for this, we're using these taller ones that are like the fancy ones, just because they're longer. They seem to be a little bit straighter and before you get to that taper. So that allows it to look more realistic than to be able to be seen as a toothpick right away. You need your container. So this is just the cap of a face wash that I had. It's a simple little thing. You could use whatever you want. It's a pretty sturdy plastic, which is great, but I mean, you can basically use what you want. I wouldn't do anything like toilet paper rolls just because it could disintegrate pretty easily, but any kind of plastic piece will do. Then you need some poster board paper, pretty thin. We got a pack of 4 from the dollar store. You need something to cut it with. We're using this. You could use scissors. You could use your X-Acto knife and your ruler. You need a rubber band. And you need your tree trimmings. So you need like a stick and some like faux greenery, or you could make it like a plant or a bush, I'm sorry. Anything you want to stick in there if you're making a planter. This is actually, it's for Model Railroad. It's called Landscaping Bushes by JTT Scenery Products. It's like this really soft kind of green mossy stuff. I got this on sale for 74 cents. They don't make it anymore. I was looking for it online, but I'm sure you could find something similar. It's just bushes material. This one's really soft. but I'm sure anything would do. You could even put like tiny pebbles in there. That's it. And some styrofoam. So pretty simple. All right, so step 1, if you got your materials, is anybody making this at the same time, or you're all gonna watch and like save it later? I would love to hear what you're doing. And if you have any questions along the way, if something's not clear, just let me know and I'll try to re-explain it. Okay, step 1, you need your container. This is yours, okay. Step 2, you need your paper. Step 3, you need a pencil. Now what you're gonna do is lay your container flat on your piece of paper and you're gonna trace it. You want it to be the same height that you're doing because we're wrapping it. Now what's good about the poster board is that you can wrap it. So let me give a little backstory because a little history on Tambour, that will help you understand why the process is as it is. So this was originally invented back in the 1700s. King Louis XV wanted a desk where he could lock up his important papers, so he commissioned his cabinet guy to make something where he could have privacy but it would still be fabulous, and that is when this material first came aboard. Unfortunately, it took 9 years to complete and the cabinet maker died before it was completed, but his predecessor finished it and it was just phenomenally popular after that. So you would see this material, which is basically just strips of wood applied to a flexible backing, and that allows you to have that roll top desk kind of look, and that's where the first roll top came from. This also gained popularity in the 80s, and you saw it a lot in kitchens on like that honey colored oak, and it would be the appliance garage that would open. It kind of got a bad rep after that and people were over it, but now you can see it everywhere in more of a modern kind of take. So that is why we're using poster board, because it's going to be flexible and you can curve it or you could do it straight, but it also allows you to, you know, adapt to whatever you're kind of covering. If you're doing a circle, a small shape, or if you're doing a whole wall, you don't have to apply it directly. You can make it in sheets and then apply it. So that is the logic behind it. Okay, so take your shape, take your pencil, and trace away. Nope, not like that. Good question. You want to take it and you're gonna trace it long ways. So you measure out from the top to the bottom and make a little mark at the base. Just at the base of here. Good. Now we're gonna take our cutting tool, because we have it. If you didn't, you would just draw a line straight across and then you would cut on it, but we're gonna do this. So now what you wanna do, Chase, put your pencil down. See the little mark that you made? Yeah. This is gonna go straight up like this. You're gonna line this up, see that mark? Yeah. See the groove? Yeah. Okay, so this has straight edges on it, so you're gonna, is that centered? There, that's good. That's good? Okay. So now you're going to push this down and pull it towards you. Watch your fingers push down hard. You gotta cut through paper. There you go. Watch my fingers. And then you have a piece of paper. Wow. Okay. So put that away. We don't really need that anymore. So now you have your strip of paper. You're going to wrap it around your container and then trim it. Oh, actually we do still need that. I lied. Okay. And then you're gonna mark here. See where they overlap? Like that. You're gonna put a little mark. I'll hold it for you. So see how this piece of paper touches the other piece? Put a mark right here where they come together. Now for some reason, I'm sure there's some kind of geometry behind it. When you do it where it perfectly touches, it's short when you cut it. So you could overlap it, or you just fill in with the toothpicks that you might be missing after you glue it on. Okay, so now we have that mark, and then we'll cut it again at that spot. Okay, put you up here, put this in set it up how you want it. I'll hold it here. Okay, push it down, go. Wonderful. Okay, so then we double check. Let's see if this fits. Oh my gosh, this one is good. It's actually a little bit too big. That's one thing you don't want. It's better for it to be smaller than too big, because then it's not gonna lay as flat. So we're just gonna trim off a teeny tiny bit of it. This part can get kind of hard because it doesn't, oops, that was way too much, but that's okay. Okay, so now it fits around your piece. Okay, so yeah, and one thing to note, you do want to use a container that is pretty much straight, or otherwise if it's tapered, you're gonna have to do something else to do the circumference of it. There's a little bit of geometry involved, so if you just pick something straight, it's a lot easier. So now that you have your piece of paper, you want to put down some wax paper. I didn't show that, but you know what wax paper looks like. So get some of that, put down your piece of paper, and grab your toothpicks and your glue. Now what you're going to do is glue the toothpicks onto the paper. Now it doesn't really matter how you do it. You want to start with the first one being as straight as possible, because the rest of them are going to get pushed up close to that, and you want it to be as straight as possible, like the toothpick itself. So when you put it on, keep it straight, align with the edge of the paper, and when you pick your toothpick, pick a straight one. See how this one's like janky? That's not always a bad thing, but you don't want it to lay on that part. You can adjust it depending on how big your pieces that you're covering.
Which should the point?
Which side does it? It doesn't matter if it points up or down, because you're gonna trim it off anyways. So like if you do have a bend in it, sometimes you can push it towards the top, push it towards the bottom, and it still works. If there's paint or glue on it that's gonna get cut off, it's not a problem. So what I like to do is take the glue, smear it on a part of the poster board, not the whole thing, just a little part, and then smear that with your finger so it's nice and smooth all around all the edges. Yep. Now you don't want to use
around the entire,
just the part that you're working on. Yep, you can come over a little bit more. You don't want to use too much glue, because you can stain this after, and if you have the glue poking through, it's going to mess with your stain. Also, if you use too much glue, it's going to not make it as flexible. Here, just wipe it on. This is how I do it.
okay.
It's nice and clean. Doesn't matter. If you use too much glue, it's going to keep it from being able to be mobile and flex it. So then you take, are you watching? Yeah. You take one piece and you line it up with the edge, right? You can move it a little bit to see, and you glue it on there, just like that. So simple. And then you're going to continue and work your way across. So if you come across any that are bent, that don't hit the next one flat, see what I mean by bent? See how this one is all curvy?
Yeah.
That one's fine.
Oh, okay.
I think. Sometimes you can't tell.
Well,
Oh yeah, that one is bad. That one's funky. But put it here so you don't keep grabbing like the bad ones. Yeah, that's
Oh,
another
this
one.
is a perfect one.
See, some are perfect, some are better used as like starting sticks. Okay, so Chase is going to continue with that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to put it in, push it down, good to go. Now, while Chase is doing that, so once you get that done and you get all of your toothpicks on your paper, and I have one here, the power of Instagram Live, I did this earlier so you can kind of see, you're going to want to put something heavy on it. This is just a tile sample, and weigh it down. This was only a couple hours ago, so I hope it's dry, should be okay, but you could also leave it overnight just to be sure. So Chase is going to do that. Once you get like almost to the end here, then you're going to want to put more glue and keep going. So that's good. Push it up next to this one. Yep, good. That's fine. That's good. Awesome. Okay, so now you're going to trim it to fit. I learned the hard way that the best way to do this is actually with your X-Acto knife, and you're cutting, whoopsie, cutting mat and your ruler. You don't need any fancy tools to do this, and it's better to not, because I tried to do it on my scroll saw thinking like I'd zip right through it, and one, I didn't cut it very straight, and two, I had little pieces of toothpicks flying everywhere, and yeah, it was a little dangerous. I mean, I was wearing safety glasses, of course, but it's dangerous. Okay, so you're gonna set up, let me show you this. You're gonna set up, of course, on the edge, and you're just going to score here. Now you don't have to cut all the way through, because you can just snap them off. So I'll show you a little bit. Let me stand up so I can get some muscle power here. And you're gonna hold it and go straight through. I just changed the blade on my X-Acto knife, so hopefully this will be pretty simple. They shouldn't move too much when you get your glue in there. You need it a little bit more. You don't have to push, you don't have to, so Chase is like dragging his finger. You don't want to do that. You want to just push him down like that. Don't worry if it sticks to the paper, it'll come right up. Yep, it's looking good. Looking good. Try to get, this one's a little bit crooked. See how he's bending out?
Yeah.
Because if he bends away, then you're going to see the white behind. So maybe you move him up a little bit, and then he'll get, that part will get cut off.
Oh yeah, that's smart.
Smart. That's why I'm showing people, because it's smart. It's very simple. This whole technique is so simple. There's so many ways that you can do it. Next, I want to do a desk, because I think it would be pretty quick and easy to make, and it's very modern right now. We all want stylish dollhouses, don't we? This is a way that you can learn one thing and apply it to many things. Okay, so that's about like 3/4 of the way through, just scored. You can't really see it, but I'm gonna show you anyways. And then you just want to snap it. So you'll go backwards, towards, and it comes right off. And just play with it a little bit. Then you can throw those there. So just work your way down, snapping these off. It's funny, when I did it before with my,
Can you?
you're doing great, you just gotta squeeze it. When I did it before with my other X-Acto blade that wasn't brand new, it actually worked better. I think maybe because the tip was broken off, so it got closer. I don't know. Now we're getting into a rhythm here. See, just simple. And I'm bending towards the cut, not away from it. So towards the paper. Yes.
There you go.
Thank you. Who needs napkins?
Yeah.
Nobody here. It's just the easier way to do it. Okay. I'm gonna get one side down. And can you guys hear me okay? Because I have the fan on. It's a very comfortable 90 degrees here in Florida today. And we're in the, oh yeah, don't use that one. That's gonna be too short. It's a little one. We're in the garage, so it's hot, so I have the fan on. But if it's hard for you guys to hear, just let me know and I will turn it off. Okay, so you got one side done. It's not perfect, but that's why you have your sanding tool. So now we're gonna do the other side.
Almost halfway.
Sweet. Let's see if that's good. You could probably save these little discard pieces or something. What I don't exactly know yet, but I'm sure somebody could figure out a really good use for it. If you have any ideas, put them in the comments below. Did I get you? Toothpicks can still go flying even if you're not using machinery. I feel like I should have scored that one a little bit more, but I'm impatient, so I'm just going to use muscle power and break them off. And of course you could probably use like a saw or something else, like with a miter box, but mine wasn't long enough to do that, so this is what I came up with instead. I'm going to cut these ones a little bit more actually. Okay. It's a little tough. That's alright. As Glennon Doyle would say, we can do hard things. That's what we do. Chase is coming along. Looking good. Whoopsie. Okay, we're almost there. Be careful not to go too far up because you don't want to get into the taper. Looks like you're doing good. Okay, so that's it. So you got it cut. It's pretty clean. I mean, it's a lot straighter than it was when I did it on the scroll saw, and I showed one side versus the other on the blog post, so you can see. So you can see what that's like. Okay, so once you have it completed, you want to take your sanding block and just clean up your edges. It only takes like a minute to do it. That side is pretty much done. Makes quick work of it. Nice and clean. Other side.
You got a new follower.
Oh, thanks for joining. I guess we're doing a good job teaching. Okay, so now you have it. Now you could stain it. You know, obviously this is like a light blonde wood, which is very chic right now, but they're also doing it in darker colors. Like you could see, I put some links to like my Chirpiest page that has some links to other manufacturers that have pieces on there, and like our house has one that's really dark. West Elm is doing it in like a brown kind of tone. They're even doing it painted, so you could paint it or stain it white. Like the possibilities are endless, and I think that's why it is gaining in popularity. It's a very warm kind of treatment, and it's another alternative to like a painted wall or wallpaper, and it adds a cool architectural element. So that's what you got. Then you'll take your container and you will simply wrap it around and glue it and secure it in place. So let's do that.
Can you also put some more glue on for me?
I sure can.
Since you have it.
I would be happy to put some more glue on for you. Oh good, you're almost at the end. Perfect.
Yeah, so you can just glue the rest.
I'll just
Wipe it on yourself.
I will. I got plenty on me. Okay, that's good. Cover all the edges. This is looking good, Chase. Okay, and then we'll do the same for here. Clean it up. Put some glue. Okay, okay. Wipe that off. Okay. Now you're going to take your container and you just wrap it around like so. Now remember what I said, it doesn't always meet for some reason. I don't know why exactly. And sometimes it still has a bit of a taper to it. Now you're gonna wanna play with it a little bit. Like I've got glue coming out at the bottom and at the top, which is okay. But depending on how close you put your toothpicks together, how much glue you use, it could be stiff. Like the first time I did it for this one, I had to like snap the paper because it was very stiff. This one is very flexible, I think, because my toothpicks are a little bit further apart. But see what I mean? You wrap it around and it doesn't exactly meet. But then what you're gonna do, you wanna try to get that gap like as close to equal as possible. And you can flare out the bottom a little bit and kind of fudge it. No one's gonna see the bottom, so like you could leave a gap. See how that one's like bigger on one side, not perfectly rectangular. Because then you're gonna trim toothpicks to fit. Usually it's about 2. I mean, depending on how big you make it, you might need more than that or less than that. And that's gonna go to the back anyways. So once you put your rubber band on, you can kind of play with it and open up the bottom, make it a little bit wider so that that gap is equal from the top to the bottom. And just keep it tight on the top, since that's the part you'll see it. You'll see when you're looking into your planter. Maybe what you could even do is take one of these little pieces, pop it in there as a spacer. Look at that, there is a use for this. I didn't do this last time, but it works just fine. Then when it dries, you're gonna have that straighter piece. Okay, so see how this is pretty straight from the top to the bottom, but this is the bottom and I've got those 2 spacers in there, but the top is tight. I mean, except for the gap here, which is gonna get covered. Everything is touching. So it must have a slight taper to it, or, you know, nobody does anything perfectly, so that's a good way to fudge it, and you would never know because this is gonna go down. So that's it. Then you let this dry completely, and then I'll go back. You can take some of your toothpicks, oh, not these ones that were janky. Take some that are not. You're almost done. That's awesome. And you're gonna measure the same way. I guess you could make an extra while you're doing it, so you don't have to do this after the fact, but you just measure from top to bottom. I like to just use real time and then mark it and then cut it. And then once this is all dry, you can take your rubber band off and just glue those 2 pieces in there directly to the container, and that's it. Then you fill your planter. So this one, I made a tree. I think it's kind of quirky, but it's cute. The inside is just, let's see if you can see. The inside is styrofoam, and then I put some glue on top and then put this railroad landscaping bushes stuff. It's really soft. It's like mossy, which I like about it, but you can really use whatever the heck you want. I might put some more decorative little rocks or sand or pebbles or something for the next one. And then this tree trunk was just a stick, and I took my Dremel with like a really fine attachment on it. It already had a hole like starting in it, so I just made it even bigger. I don't know if I glued this. I didn't. Look. So this is I don't even know what I'm doing, but look how wonderful. I hardly ever glue things. I probably should. I know some people are sticklers and they glue everything down, but I like to be able to change my mind. So I don't glue hardly anything. So just bring the base. Okay, so anyways, this was all attached to one piece of metal. So you could chop off the end. You know, these you can get, everyone knows, the dollar store, Hobby Lobby, or whatever. You could make it seasonal. You could even just put it at the bottom if you just wanted a bush. Like it would look like this. Something like this.
Finished.
But you finished. Let's see. Ta-da! Okay, so now you have to put something heavy on it and let it dry. That looks really good. Good job. Oh wait, what happened here? You can see the white cardboard. So wait, so we'll come back to the tree in a second. So you're gonna want to push everything tight together. See how you can just like roll them over a little bit? Yeah. And then you want to put one more in there, and then that's good. And then we'll cover all the rest of that once it comes together. Okay, so now we weigh it down. That'll just keep it all straight from curling up. I mean that. Okay, so then you can see there's like a little hole in the top here, and I just went down with the Dremel, and then I took my greenery and I stuck it in the top. You could glue it if you want to be straight, secure, And then that's it. And then it looks like a tree. So, ta-da! So super easy. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions and I can answer them while we're still on. But 2:30, we completed our craft. See, in 30 minutes, well, I mean, plus dry time, you could have a cute little planter. So now we'll have a taller one. Cute, thanks Louie. I think it's cute too. So now we'll have this guy, and we'll have this guy, and we'll have a whole series. And then when I do the desk, I'll post it on there and y'all can see. And if you want step-by-step instructions, this will be, you know, posted on Instagram when Chase gets around to making the thumbnail. He's my tech support, so when he makes it, he'll put it on hopefully today or tomorrow. And then if you want step-by-step written instructions, go onto the blog. You can sign up for the newsletter, always changing things around. And you can get step-by-step and you can see the history of Tambour and some links to inspiration images and all kinds of things to really get your wheels turning of how you can use this in your human house and in your dollhouse. The possibilities are endless. So thanks for tuning in. If you do make it, I would love to see pictures. And if you have any trouble with anything, reach out. If you get stuck, feel free. We're always here to help. It's so fun to spend this time with you guys. And we'll see you again in 2 weeks for something else. Bye.